trade concerns, worries about global growth slamming Wall Street, as we've been talking about today, with the Dow down nearly 500 points. The president, though, early in the day, trying to sound optimistic on Twitter, saying that a comprehensive trade deal with China could be reached soon. Steve Forbes is here, the chairman of Forbes Media. And what I thought was kind of interesting about that, Steve, is sometimes when you get a presidential tweet like that, the market comes roaring back. And it didn't today. You read anything into that as sort of a president who's cried wolf on some of this, or what do you make of that?
I think with something as big as China, people want to see a real deal, not just good atmospherics. We had good atmospherics earlier this year on a possible negotiation with the Chinese, sitting down with the Chinese. So people want to now see the particulars. And the thing I think you're going to see perhaps at the turn of the year is throwing in natural gas. China needs natural gas, imports a lot from Russia and the Middle East, would love to have a third party. That would give a big number to it, $200 or $300 billion trade deal over 10 years on natural gas. And so that way, Trump could say that I've got a real victory here. China could have another source to play off against the Russians in the Middle East.
That is the key, both sides being able to walk away with something, right? So when you say the new year, that's really, for all intents and purposes, when these negotiations will begin again. We get through the holidays, and then you'll have what? The time will be running down in the 90 days, but you have a decent amount of time left to get something together.
Well, the president also is setting up an atmosphere where, especially after the State of the Union, if it looks like they are going to be nearing something, that March 1st deadline will get pushed back because they're close to a deal.
Right.
And so springtime.
It sounds, yeah, spring. It sounds like we have a relatively optimistic Steve Forbes with us today.
I think both sides want a deal. China wants to keep that economy going. President Trump knows the Democrats are going to be after his scalp, a political version of a death through 1,000 cuts. So coming back with a big deal, and then if Congress starts to mess with it, he's got the perfect issue. I negotiated a great deal, improved America's economy. The Democrats are trying to block it.
The question will be, from Wall Street's perspective at least, is there any teeth to this, or is it just, you know, on paper only, and the Chinese are making promises they don't follow up on? I mean, I think people will be skeptical.
First on purchases, you either have a purchase order or you don't.
Right. So the soybeans,
and natural gas and stuff like that, absolutely. And in terms of
IP theft is tougher, though.
Yeah. But what they'll do is they'll bring in a deal with a company, pick a company, and they'll bring them in and say, you don't need a Chinese partner. You don't have to share it. They'll do some of those showcase deals to say, you see, we're changing our behavior, which we never did in the first place.
Big U.S. Right, of course, then they won't admit it. That's like one of these deals where you admit no wrongdoing, right?
That's what they pay diplomats for.
I want to talk, well, it's interesting to see if you're right, and it could work out that way. I want to talk about the Fed while you're here as well. And Jerome Powell, the Fed chairman, certainly under pressure. President Trump talks about him all the time, calling on the Fed not to raise rates. And he talked about the Fed again yesterday on Fox. Here he is.
Hopefully the Fed won't be raising interest rates anymore, because if you compare us to, as an example, President Obama, he had zero interest rates. Anybody can make money with zero interest rates. I'm almost at a normalized interest rate, and yet our economy is soaring. Our jobs are soaring. Our businesses are doing tremendously.
Now, I wanted to talk to you about it, Steve, because we have the Fed decision coming up next week. And, you know, do you think there is pressure on Jay Powell from the White House that he feels, and does it affect the way he acts?
Anytime the White House goes really head-to-head in a big way with the Fed, the White House always wins. Going back to Harry Truman, Franklin Roosevelt, and others.
Usually that's behind closed doors, right, in the past?
No, Harry Truman was out in the public.
He was out of the open,
it was a bloody battle. Lyndon Johnson, the same thing. So what they'll do, the Fed will raise rates 25 basis points next week, so they can say, we didn't give in to pressure.
And that's it.
But the verbiage for next year will be, instead of 4 rate increases, it'll be, we'll do it step by step depending on conditions. That'll be their way of surrendering.
Because in some ways, from the market's perspective at least, if they didn't raise next week also, people would start to say, boy, maybe it's worse than we think. It could be.
And you would see the gold price pop up and people worried about inflation.
Right.
So this way, the Fed has face saving. Donald Trump knows he's got a victory.
And that brings up kind of a larger point about what the argument is for the Federal Reserve not raising interest rates. I think it was Peter Navarro was on our network earlier who was talking about this a little bit as well, but you brought up inflation. What is the concern for the Fed? Is it inflation, which we haven't seen yet, but future inflation, or is it growth, slowing economic growth?
That's the key thing, and that's where I wish the White House would make a real distinction. The Fed thinks prosperity causes inflation. It doesn't. Bad monetary policy causes inflation.
Right.
So a price going up because of greater demand, that's a good thing. Tells you got to produce more, become more productive. That's how a market works. So the Fed has this thing, they call it the Phillips curve. You want to impress people over the holidays at cocktail parties. Talk about the Phillips curve.
Yeah, well, I don't know if I'd use the word impress, but go ahead.
But they think, you're so learned, I don't know what he's talking about. He must be a genius.
Exactly right.
But they think that the only way you bring unemployment down is to have high inflation. You want to bring inflation down, you have to have high employment. 7 Nobel economists have debunked that nonsense. But the Fed is still holy writ. That's the real thing. If the economy picks up speed yet next year, especially after a China trade agreement.
And you think it can?
I think it can. And then the Fed is going to be a danger thing. That's where the pressure is going to be needed. Don't wreck the economy with your obsolete, bogus theories.
Should I throw in any Laffer curve references while I'm on the curve thing, or just stay with Phillips?
You can throw in Laffer as well. Just make it clear it's not baseball you're talking about.
Thank you.